Corey, are you good?
Okay, we're set.
All right, and playback.
Today we're at Fort Knox Studios in Chicago, and we're going to be making a music video with pop artist Emily Blue and director Chris Hirschman. And the camera we'll be using is Nikon's new full-frame mirrorless Z7. Because it's a hybrid camera with no mirror, it's also a very capable 4K video camera. The crew here will be shooting the entire video on the Z7. We'll also be using it to shoot behind-the-scenes stills and video.
Yeah, I really stumbled into filmmaking. I was a photographer for years and I shot Nikon, and I invested in one of the first Nikons that had video, and I just started testing it out with my friends. I'm a musician, so I just started filming bands and performances. Then I just started doing it all, whether it was photography or video. Emily Blue is an amazing Chicago artist, amazing vocalist. In the past, she's done a lot of rock music, but this new style of music she calls glitch pop.
Man, we really need a great video. And then Chris was like, hey, I want to make a video for this song. And so it was like the universe just handed me this gift, and I'm really excited.
Emily's not just a musician, she's a performer. So it made it really easy to use just one person as our talent and our subject. For the shoot, we're using the Nikon Z7 mirrorless full-frame camera. Obviously, I'm very excited about it as a filmmaker to have all of these video-specific features added to this camera. Just right off the bat, having focus peaking is amazing. We have a highlight display, so I can see if I'm blowing out my image or not. We pretty much just build these sets and put Emily in it, and she is gonna just transform into Emily Blue. We had an idea for a catwalk that had these stand-up slats, and we didn't fully use it in its intended way, but we ended up finding something that was way cooler. So once we took the camera off the dolly and put it on the gimbal, I think that was our first big surprise of how well this camera works with autofocus. It's basically this waterfall look created by all this mylar.
It's strange in the fact that it has a lot of reflections going on in it, so Emily's kind of duplicated multiple times over. The camera was able to find her every time, find the real her. I was doing some reveals from behind mylar that we're going to use for some match cuts and stuff, and I would come out from behind the mylar and it would immediately, you could see the yellow square on the back of the camera, immediately grab a hold of her face and pull focus to it.
I stopped thinking about focus. I just always saw an in-focus image, and we just moved, which actually helped us push the production forward. We approached day 2 with the largest setup. We delicately laid down these 9 mirrors and created a 15-foot stage. It was a tall order to build that set. And I wanted to get higher up and get some cool swooping angles, and so we went with a jib on that. I had our stage lighting director basically program the lights to move to all of the fun different segments of Emily's song. That, I think, is a big part of what makes this video look so dynamic. There's a new sensor in this camera, so I wanted to shoot in a standard profile, and I didn't want to do any color correction. We don't have to do a ton of post-editing to it. We don't have to touch it. It looks great right out of camera. When you've been shooting a camera system for so long, you collect all of those components like batteries, cards, and of course lenses, and it's great to be able to use all those things on this new camera system. We rigged our camera for the white party scene, now using an F-mounted lens, the 70-200 2.8. We used the F to Z adapter to attach to the mirrorless camera. We then used a wireless follow focus on the zoom ring of the lens. We just sat there and zoomed back and forth as the camera did all of the autofocusing. It's kind of this weird retro look to it, just by the way we rigged the camera. In addition to doing all this fun, fancy rigging, I wanted to do some handheld stuff. And it was kind of this point of view, like she's kind of singing and dancing with one of the mannequins, like they're coming to life. The vibration reduction was amazing. but I was even more impressed with how close I was and how sharp the focus was as I was moving in and out. You can kind of take a step back and not be so involved in the technical aspect and just be engaged with what you're shooting. That scene alone added a playfulness and an energy and a camera movement that we didn't have from the other setups. Massive props to Emily for keeping up the energy throughout a very long shoot. The fact that she was able to give us some of her most energetic moments at the end, the intensity and the energy just began to rise on set with both crew and her. The very last shot on any production is a special one, but we pulled everybody together. We did this big last scene with the confetti.
All right, start your spin. Sure. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! That was so good.
Look at these.
And that's a wrap!
It's the perfect shot, the perfect ending for this production, and I gotta tell you, it's my absolute favorite shot from the entire video. The fact that this camera has the essentials for a filmmaker. Those are things that Nikon's added to this camera and has made it easier for filmmakers to, dial in a really good image and create great films.